Today is Friday, October the 4th, and the time is 6:09, and the reason we're here today is to talk about stress management. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so before we get started, I would like for you to just look over my informed consent information here, if you would.
Great.
And there is a place where you'll need to sign. And of course, before you do that, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Great. And so is this where I sign?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I know we're going to talk about stress today. So I actually pulled this up on my laptop here.
Okay.
And I want you to look over it. It's kind of a survey, and it just kind of gives us a frame of reference for your thinking as far as positivity or negativity is concerned. So if you wouldn't mind just taking it over, take some personal time there to reflect on the questions, and you answer it not at all, and then rarely, sometimes, often, or very often. So it's just kind of like a survey there.
Okay. Just take my time.
Sure.
Okay. And just mark them accordingly.
Okay.
But there's a comfort zone involved with stress.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to kind of be here, I'm assuming, in the middle?
Yes, in the middle. It says comfort zone. Yes.
Okay. So it says in your comfort zone, stress can be exciting and an exciting challenge.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which, like I said, I never had thought of before, but I definitely can see how that would make sense.
Right.
Okay, and over here on this side, it says distress is caused by understimulation because stressors are too few in number and are not very intense, and I definitely know I'm not there.
Okay.
So that's not me.
Right.
I would think I'm over here on this other side where it's an overstimulation of stress and can be very overwhelming and very intense for me at times.
Okay. So you're overwhelmed by your stress. Is that what I'm hearing?
Most definitely.
Okay.
I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now.
Okay. Okay. So what's causing you to be so overwhelmed and stressed?
Well, honestly, I just feel like I'm not getting all the help that I need.
Okay.
You know, I feel like this, you know, I have 2 children, I work, I'm going to school, and I feel that, you know, I'm married, and I feel that there should be a partnership in this, and I feel like right now, there's not really a partnership.
Okay. So what you're saying then is that you're finding your stress is coming from your marriage.
Yes.
And you feel like you're not getting the support that you need. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean it's coming from just outside factors.
Okay.
But my marriage isn't supporting me in the need for you know, to help me through the stress that I'm dealing with.
Okay. So when you say outside factors, do you mean factors outside of your marriage?
Yes, like I said, you know, I have a lot going on in my life.
Okay.
Time management wise, I feel like I'm spread thin.
Okay.
And I feel like it would be I wouldn't feel this amount of stress if my partner, my husband, were willing to take on more responsibilities.
Okay. So you're feeling spread thin in your life, you know, time management's an issue, and then you're feeling that it's being compounded and like exacerbated.
That's a really good way of putting it.
Of your lack of support.
Most of it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's look at another little survey here about just kind of taking a look at your life in the last 24 hours in relation to your stress. And let me give you a pen here.
Thank you.
And you're gonna read it and you're gonna check yes if it applies or no if it does not apply to you.
Okay, great. So I'm kind of on the fence. I'm gonna go ahead and just say no.
Okay.
Overall, you know, I don't think I'm managing my time wisely.
Okay, because that's one of your issues,
yes.
Right? Okay. So I know that you're in the field of education. So do you know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Well, you can remind me.
Okay. Great. So basically, our basic needs need to be met in order for us to function the way we need to function. And if those basic needs aren't being met, then we're going to have added stresses, and we're not going to be able to deal with them appropriately. So basically, our basic needs have to be met, in order for us to fully excel and function and be healthy. So actually this assessment is kind of about your basic needs.
Okay.
And so if you want to review those and kind of let me know.
Sure. It said, were the number of calories consumed appropriate for, or I'm sorry, it says within the past 20. Number 5 says, are you organized and do you manage your time, work and leisure? And I had, we kind of discussed that one, but overall I feel that no, I'm not
Okay.
managing that well right now.
Okay. Okay. So we talked about a couple of areas of which they're causing stress in your life, and when we look at this, we kind of see that some of your basic needs are being met, and others are kind of being neglected. And as you were saying, some you feel it's due to your stress.
Yes.
So you feel that it's not, these needs aren't being met, and it's causing you stress. You feel that because of your stress, you're not being able to adequately meet these basic needs.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I feel threatened, in the environment that I'm in right now.
Okay. So you feel that work is a threatening environment, which is causing you stress.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Wonderful. So of those, you have one barrier or one obstacle, and the rest are positives for you.
Yes.
Very good.
So,
Good.
that was nice
Yeah.
to reflect on that.
Yeah.
That was useful, I
Good.
think, helpful.
Good.
Being
Good.
able to reflect on that. That people have different values than I do, and I see that at work.
Okay.
I'm a hard worker,
Right.
and I like to, I'm very passionate about my job and my calling. I feel it is a calling, and I always want to be rigorous in the academic pursuits, with my kids. And,
Sure.
it's not always the same,
Right.
with my coworkers, and I feel because of their shortcomings that, upper management, if you will, it's coming down to affect all of us.
Right. So that causes you stress.
Most definitely.
Right.
And I would think that would go in with convictions, priorities, and principles and morals
Okay.
of my coworkers.
Right. But we can focus on the positive in that you are convinced that your principles, your morals, your convictions, your priorities are in the right place. Correct?
Yes.
So that's a positive. So how could we deal with the negatives around us at work? How do you think, what do you think would help?
I really just try to remove myself from the situation. I don't buy into a lot of it.
Okay.
I keep my head down. I don't comment. When I feel bullied, when I
Right.
feel pressured, and I keep my mouth shut, and I do my job to the best of my ability, and I think to myself, as long as I'm convinced that I'm teaching to the best of my abilities and to the standards that my students must meet,
Right.
then, I'm fulfilling my obligations.
Good. So you feel a positive connection with your students, but maybe a disconnect with your coworkers. Is that what I'm understanding?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And does that make you feel isolated at all, or?
I do feel very isolated.
Okay.
I find, like I said, I try to just completely remove myself from the situation so that my name can never be brought into, well, she said this.
Right. Do you think that's healthy for you?
No, I really don't. I miss the camaraderie.
Right.
I do.
Right. So do you have a social network or a group of peers who you can confide in and
I do.
Okay,
I have
good.
a couple of
Good.
confidants.
Right, good. So could you work at kind of incorporating them more into your day and
Well, there again, the three of us, feel so spread thin, and just, if we see each other once a week, we think we're doing good.
right. So
You
you
know.
don't really have time for camaraderie at work.
Right.
Right. Okay. And do you feel that adds to your stress or
Most definitely. I would love to be able to, sit down and discuss the successes and failures of the day.
Right, right.
And
so you feel that your time management has taken away from your positive camaraderie at work, and earlier you were mentioning that you feel that you're also missing some support at home. Could you kind of tell me some more about that?
well, that there's not that partnership there.
Right. So it seems to me like at work you mentioned the reason for your lack of camaraderie is because of your lack of time to devote to it. Because you and your peers feel so spread out. So that's really not something maybe that you could control or work towards making carving some time out for. But perhaps have you spoke to your husband about the lack of support you're feeling? Because maybe that's something that we could work on setting a goal
Well,
with.
and, I have,
Hmm.
and it always just ends in a fight.
Okay.
And I don't. Maybe that's like a. I don't know if it's proper to say maybe like a defense mechanism.
Right. Sure. Okay. So is it healthy for you to keep your mouth shut and press on? Is that what's best for Melanie?
Well, I'm supposed to be honest, right?
Of course.
So if I'm being honest with myself, no, it's not healthy.
Okay. So how could you deal with it differently? What do you think? What would be a constructive way to deal with it instead of kind of, keeping your mouth shut and pressing on,
Maybe
as
I
you said?
could try to discuss it with my husband in a
Mhm.
way that wouldn't spark an argument.
Right. Sure. So, and this is something he would be interested in doing as well, you feel, correct?
I think. I mean, I hope so.
Right, right. Sure.
I mean.
So maybe it would be a goal that you could both work toward together. And in doing that, that could also help to build your relationship. And working toward building that relationship and maybe having success with that, with taking the time to set the goals and to kind of confront your problems that you're having. And I'm wondering if maybe that will help you feel more positive then, and having success with that to kind of maybe work at doing the same at work. Because you mentioned to me that work, the stresses that you feel from, I guess it's your administration, is that correct?
Yes.
You mentioned coming in your room and
Yes.
maybe they could give you the confidence that you need or maybe like the skills that you need in order to be able to maybe bring that up
And,
to your administration.
one and something you made me realize, or helped me realize, is that it's kind of the same at
Right.
home and at work.
Absolutely. That's one of those basic needs we have.
And that, yeah, and so kind of full circle,
Right.
another one of those, yes, basic needs.
Right, right. Because we need to feel loved and supported. We need to
Yes.
have that.
Yes.
It's very essential.
Just like but there again, I think if I, shared with my husband the problems I'm feeling, that, maybe if he would, if I could really share with him how I feel, then he, might internalize that in a way that he would realize, he needs to do something to help out,
Sure. So I'm going to ask, do you feel intimidated to share with your husband? Do you feel afraid of his reaction? Is that what I'm understanding? Or?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think it's because I don't, like I said, I don't want to fight.
Sure.
I don't want an argument.
Sure.
It's just easier to suck it up and do it myself.
Sure.
And like I said, that's what I do at work too. So I think maybe that's a defense mechanism.
Right. So I'm wondering if we could even back up a step further. We talked about how you could maybe use your husband, the relationship there, to kind of perpetuate you into building your relationship at school. So I want to back up, and you said that your family, as far as your mother and your sisters, are a great support system, and you can be very open with them. So I'm wondering if maybe you could do something where you talk to them. So if we wanted to set goals, how would you feel about that?
I think that would be helpful.
Great, great. So if we wanted to start with one goal, as far as making it possible for you to positively deal with your stress, what would one goal be for that?
Positively deal with my stress. I would think, like we talked about, the goal of having some time to reflect with my husband.
Okay. So what would the goal be?
I think the goal would be to spend some quality time with my husband.
Okay, so if you were going to set a goal of spending quality time with your husband, could you just maybe write that down?
Sure.
Just put it in writing for yourself? What can you take away from what we talked about here today?
Well, I think overall that you helped me realize that, you know, although I am spread thin and I do have a lot of stress dealing with time management and just everything that's going on in my life right now, I will be able to better manage my stress by setting a simple goal for myself and achieving that goal, a realistic goal. Because I feel so overwhelmed right now. I don't think I could, it seems like I can't do anything. But if
Right.
it's small,
Right.
it seems more doable.
Right. Okay, good. So if we meet back next week, would you like to do that and to kind of talk about the progress you've made towards your goal?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I
Okay.
could go home. It's Friday, so I can go home and maybe, tomorrow discuss this with my husband and
Okay, good.
start a plan.
Great. So today is Friday, October the 4th, and we talked about stress management. And you've got some goals to set, and you're going to work on those and meet back with me. Wonderful. Today's Friday, October the 4th, and the time currently is 7:03. Thank you.
Thank you.